This week on Flix Freaks, we review Spenser Confidential, starring Mark Wahlberg, Winston Duke, Alan Arkin, Iliza Shlesinger, and Post Malone. Directed by Peter Berg. An ex-cop and ex-con team up to uncover a sinister conspiracy tied to the deaths of two Boston police officers.
So what I thought of the story itself was I actually thought it was interesting. Besides from like the pacing issue between like comedy and serious tones, um, I thought it was a pretty captivating story. It's a good kind of investigative cop story where Mark Wahlberg gets out of jail and he has to solve like this double murder, which ends up like linking back to his past. And um, I think overall it was entertaining. It was an entertaining story. It's very simple and it doesn't get too convoluted. So there aren't a lot of like surprise elements like this character's secretly a bad guy even though you thought he was your friend. There was a little bit of that, but not so much that it was just like, okay, I'm confused, I don't know what's happening. Yeah, there weren't really any plot holes. It was all held together pretty well. I thought all the characters were just like they were very overly Boston, so just everybody is cranky and they're mad at each other for no reason. Very stereotypical, yeah. That's I think that's probably the best word you can put um, under the description for each and every one of the characters in this film. Stereotypically Boston, or they're stereotypically bad guy, or it's all stereotypes at the nth degree. Regarding the actors' performances in this film, uh, like I said, they were stereotypical, but I think they played them well enough. So it was. I don't watch a lot of Mark Wahlberg films, but it seemed like it was more his character showing through than Mark Wahlberg. Same with the other characters. He has um, three other friends with him throughout this film. Um, and I think they all did a good job with what they were given. In regards to the cinematography, I had no issue with it. I thought there were actually some really clever camera angles. Like in one of the first fight scenes, Mark Wahlberg slams a guy's head into a desk, and they use the desk as like the camera angle, so he's slamming a head into the camera. And I thought, shots like that were impressive and made the cinematography a bit more unique. So I had no issue with it whatsoever. One thing that did really bother me in this movie was the editing. The editing was not great. The fight scenes, it was so fast paced and choppy. I thought I was having a seizure during some of the fight scenes. It was like that scene in Taken 3 where it was just 15 to 20 shots of Liam Neeson jumping over a fence. I've been spoiled by movies like John Wick and The Raid, and you have like the Netflix series which have fantastic fight scenes. I'm just being spoiled by all these, and then the fighting in this movie comes along, and it was really jarring. The fight scenes being like the funniest part of the film is really strange because typically fights aren't funny. And then it cuts straight into a very mediocre scene where it's just backstory for something, and that's when serious kicks in. I thought the mix between like comedy and then really serious scenes it was just really weirdly put together. Um, to the point where it's just jarring. He's having this like comedic scene with like his girlfriend where they're arguing and it's funny, and then it cuts to like domestic abuse, some girl getting murdered in a parking lot, and it's just weird. and jarring, and I thought that was it's a bit off-putting. As far as my rating goes, I'd say this is a definite thumbs up. I think people can go into this film and not take it too seriously and just kind of have a good time. So yeah.
Thank you for watching Flix Freaks. Join us again next week when we review another Netflix original film.